A trader's worst nightmare is watching winners turn into losers. So how do you avoid it? I mean, that's the potentially $1 million question for you. Small winners may turn into small winners on moving average strategy. Small winners may turn into big winners using this. Small losers are cut. They are never allowed to turn into big losers. Ever. Under any circumstance, should you have a big loss in your account. Hey there, traders. Welcome back to today's How to Trade Stocks and Options podcast. Today, we have a special lesson for you, and this is coming straight from my brand new trading course called the AI Stock Trading System. I've literally pulled this lesson straight out of the course, and I'm putting it here on the podcast because I really believe that this is going to provide you massive, massive value, and that's what I'm trying to do here. And hey, listen, if this podcast was useful to you at all, I really highly suggest that you go check out the full trading course at AIStockTradingSystem.com. That's AIStockTradingSystem.com. Hey there, podcast. This episode is sponsored by ResearchDrivenNews.com, where you can gain access and get instant breaking news before the crowd. And they've got something really special for you over at ResearchDrivenNews.com/report. They just released a special free report that you have just got to check out. There you'll find what some people are calling the Shopify of mobile, and the top 6 reasons to read this under-the-radar report. They specialize in showcasing companies that are projected to maintain double-digit growth figures into the next year and beyond. Now today, they're featuring a growing company that's severely undervalued compared to its top peers and has multiple catalysts in place for expansion. Now listen, don't just take my word for it. Go check out this free report today and find out more about it over at ResearchDrivenNews.com/report. That's ResearchDrivenNews.com/report. Hey there, I'm Christopher Yule. Welcome back to the course. The AI Stock Trading System, the 5-step system to take the guesswork out of trading in only about 10 minutes a day. So now we're going to be talking about a trader's worst nightmare. Watching winners turn into losers. I can't tell you how many times this has happened to me. And it's not because I didn't know what I was doing. It's because it just sucks, right? You're working on a trade. Everything's going great. The next thing you know, it has worked against you. Now, there are a few keys that you need to know before we get into this lesson. And the first thing is that you need to be trading a size that works for you, right? If you are trading so big that you don't have the ability to go to the bathroom because maybe the stock could work against you, right? Let's say your normal share lot is like 10 shares, and then you decide, you know what, things are going well. I'm going to go with 1,000 share lot, and you put on your 1,000 shares, and you can't move. I mean, you're totally glued to your screen. You're like, oh my god. You're like an addict. You can't get away from it. That move wasn't good for me. Oh, that move wasn't good for me. Oh my god. Like I can't leave. I can't eat. I can't talk to my family. I can't sleep. It's not gonna work for me. I gotta get out. And the next thing you know, maybe you've lost a lot of money. I don't know. I mean, those are the kind of experiences I've had where it's like, awesome, I'm going to day trade this real quick and I'm going to go big because I'm going to get in and I'm going to get out and it's going to be awesome. And I put on a trade and the next thing I know, like, it works against me. And because I'm trading 6 times as big as I normally would, it's like, this hasn't gone well. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get out. And, it's just... It's unnecessary worry, and you don't have to do anything about it. And what I mean is that, like, if you just trade the right size, it's going to make things a lot easier, right? Don't even worry about how big your neighbor's trading. You trade your own size. That's really what matters. So, let's get into the lesson here. A trader's worst nightmare is watching winners turn into losers. So how do you avoid it? I mean, that's the potentially $1 million question for you. Small winners may turn into small winners on moving average strategy. Small winners may turn into big winners using this. Small losers are cut. They are never allowed to turn into big losers. Ever. Under any circumstance, should you have a big loss in your account. Never, under any circumstance, should you have a big loss in your account. You're going to be trading with AI. You're going to be trading with the trend. And if you're not doing these things, you might have big losses in your account. But you need to have the discipline to trade with the AI. If the AI is telling you, hey, today's a great day to go long, and you decide to go short, that's on you. If the AI says, today is not a day to be buying stocks, and you're like, I'm going to load up, that's on you. If the AI says to go long, and the moving averages are saying to go long, why in the world would you want to go short? And vice versa. If the AI is saying, you know what, now is not the day to go long, and the moving averages are all above the price of the stock, so it's underperforming where it could be, now is not the day to go long stock. And if you can keep those principles, you're going to do really well. It's just math. You stay on the right side of the trend, and it's going to work with you because the trend is moving in your direction. Buyers are there with you. Move your stop point up using the moving averages. Like we talked about earlier, like I've given lots of examples. That's called a trailing stop. You're not saying, oh, if it goes from 100 to 95, I'm going to get out no matter what at 95. Because it could go up to 150. And if you leave your stop at 95, maybe it goes up to 150 and then back down to 95. And you've lost out. But if you move that up with it, with your moving average, right? It goes from 95, 96, 97, all the way up to 147. Then your loss is only from 150 to 147. And that's only loss on profits. That's not actual like losing dollars. But if you kept your stop loss down at 95 and goes from 150 down to 95, you've lost $55. And you could have just lost $3. So this is my gold trade, right? This is what we talked about in 2 lessons ago. This would have been really disappointing to go from down here, right, when we crossed over and we went up and we saw it come right back down to this moving average here. And that was like, I think it was like a $6 or $8 move that we would have not been able to get. And moving averages can be really great, but they can also be disappointing if you let them come back down. Or you can move your stop point up. You can move your moving average point up with it, like we talked about in 2 earlier episodes. Always move your stop up to protect half of your paper gains. I'm going to say that again. Always move your stop up to protect half of your paper gains. Paper gains meaning that you haven't actually closed the trade. And by moving your stop up to always protect half your gains, do you know what you don't do? You don't let losers happen. Let me repeat that for a second. If you move your stop up to always protect half your gains, you don't let losers happen. Now, granted, it could like gap through on the next day, and that kind of stuff happens. But as long as like an unusual event doesn't occur, if you move your stop up to protect half your gains, you don't let losers happen. Plain and simple. I mean, that's how I trade now, and it makes my life so much easier. The way that I do it is if it's that I've got a 1% gain on the stock, that's where I start moving my stop point up to half of that level. Because, I mean, you can keep your stop point down here, your exit point. You can keep it down there. And by the way, this works on every time frame. I've been showing the dailies, and I should have mentioned this earlier, but this works on every time frame. Minute, 2 minute, 5 minute, 12 minute, 15 minute, 30 minute, 65 minute, 60 minute, 2 hour, 4 hour, daily, weekly, monthly, whatever. This works on every one of those time frames. So always move the stop up to protect half your gains, and then you won't watch your winners turn into losers, which really honestly is a trader's worst nightmare. Oh, and then next, like I said earlier, you want to use the FinClub market trajectory along with your trading. So let me show you that real quick, and then we'll jump back to the slides. This is the market trajectory right here. Strong upward momentum. That's today. So if let's do this. We're going to do an on-the-fly example. If the stock were above its moving average, and if I had a green market trajectory, I don't even need a stock on this list, and I can trade with a lot of confidence. Hey, I know that this is moving up because of the trend. I also know that the AI data is working with me. Having those two things on your side is going to make your life so much easier. Okay. Now, I would not be looking to get into this trade because it's not above the moving average. But you know what you could do? Here's a thought. You could create an alert. You could say, hey, create an alert, move and alert me when the SPY is above key moving average. And then you set it like 27 days out. So for the next 27 days, it's going to be working for you. And the day that it does go over the moving average you've decided to use, all you got to do then is just check on your FinClub. See, hey, the AI data shows that today's a great day to go long. I'm going to get in now. I'm above the moving average. AI data is working. I'm in. But let's talk about historical stuff, right? Let's show you some of the historical moves here. Now, inside of FinClub, you can easily access the historical data by just clicking the historical. You can see on this day, it was an orange market trajectory. You can see on this day, it was a yellow market trajectory. You can see on this day, it was a yellow market trajectory. On this day, it was that was a holiday. On this day, it was a red market trajectory, and all the stocks failed. It was a green market trajectory, and it's still in process. It's a green market trajectory, also still in process. The way that I have found for this to work is you wait for when it's a green day for someone to go long. So wait for the AI data to tell you to go long. And then the moving averages working with you. But I only go long on green days. If it's yellow or orange, the AI data is not conclusive in the trajectory. So I am just going to hold out. I'm going to stay back, and I'm just going to wait for another day. Because you can always wait for another trade. Enter long only on green days, and you can move up your stops on any of the other days, like we talked about earlier, just moving that set point. So I've given you a lot of different ways to avoid losses here. You're going to want to trade with the moving averages. You're going to want to trade with the AI data. You're going to want to trade with both of them. You're going to want to make sure that on days when it's not green, to be just moving your stops up. And moving your stop up to keep half of your profits. This is a really key lesson here, and it may be worth your time to watch this 2 or 3 times over. But if you can maintain a profitable portfolio, always moving up, that's a great place to be. Because let's just use some round numbers here, like 80-20 rule, right? Let's say you can win $80 on a trade, and then you lose 20 on the next. Win 80, lose 20. Win 80, lose 20. I mean, you're going to improve your account. Keeping the losses small, letting the winners be larger than your losses is mathematically the way that you're going to grow the account. And you do that by trading with the trends and by trading with the AI data. It's all working together. This is the kind of stuff I've been talking about, how it stacks up together. This is why you got to have the foundations to understand, once we get to the strategy, how it all works together. Because in all reality, you could just boom, boom, boom straight through this, right? I'm going to give you an example real quick. I'm going to hit Trend Spider. I'm going to see, okay, it's below my exponential moving average. I don't care. I'm not going to trade it. I'm going to look here. Oh, this is green. Let's see if I can find any that are green. Go through 5 or 6 of them. None of them are above their moving average. Done. Easy. I mean, just like that, you could be in and out of your broker platform because you know what to look for. And then you also know how to make sure you don't let your winners turn into losers. Entering the trade is only half the battle, right? Knowing when to get out of the trade is the other half, which nobody ever focuses on. But if you can focus on maintaining your risk, keeping it at the right size, keeping those losses small and your winners big, you're going to do really, really well. Okay, so what'd you think? That was pretty incredible, right? Now, if you like that, that's only a taste, only a sample of what you're going to find in the full AI stock trading system. And I really highly encourage you to go and check this out. Obviously, you are interested in learning and how to trade, and that's why you're listening to this podcast. Now, I'm going to take and download my entire trading system that I use day in and day out onto you. And the only way I'm going to be able to do that is over at the AIStockTradingSystem.com. You're going to get phase 1, 2, and 3, several bonuses, and on top of that, I'm going to walk you through over a dozen trades that I put on inside of my account, holding your hand and showing you exactly how I got in, how I got out, how I use the artificial intelligence data, and how this could work inside of your own trading portfolio on a daily basis. So make sure you head on over to AIStockTradingSystem.com. That's AIStockTradingSystem.com to learn more and to get started and to download my decade plus worth of trading experience into your hands so you can start using the AI stock trading system today, the 5-step system to take the guesswork out of trading. Hey, if you like this video, let me know by leaving me a like below, and then subscribe and share it with somebody you think could use it as well. Be sure to comment below with your biggest takeaway from this episode and any suggestions you have for future episodes. And finally, make sure you watch these other videos to help you trade faster and trade smarter, and I'll see you on the next episode.